all of a sudden I felt this excruciating pain in my right leg, in my thigh. Um, Felt as I was going to pass out any minute. I hobbled away and shouted, "I've been hit, I've been hit." And the response from protesters in the way they picked me up, carried me to safety was just incredible.
As tensions flared in LA, journalists flocked to the West Coast to make sense of the chaos. But my next guest found himself a little too close to the action. I'm joined now by Nick Stern, who needed emergency surgery after being shot by LA police with a rubber bullet. Good evening to you, Nick.
Hi, Kathy. Thanks for the invitation to join you.
Well, thank you very much for coming on. I hope you're recovered now. I mean, let's start with that. Are you doing okay now?
I'm better. I'm out of hospital. I came out Tuesday. I have a large open wound on my leg, about 50 millimeters diameter, and a pump extracting fluid from that. I've got excruciating pain in my leg, and my right leg at the moment is pretty immobile. That will obviously improve as time goes on, but it's pretty uncomfortable right now.
Well, I'm so sorry to hear that. I mean, you were there to take photographs of the scene. Tell us about the moment you realised you'd been shot.
Yeah, it was actually something you don't expect. During these protests, there's a lot of projectiles going over the law enforcement here in Los Angeles. Use a lot of things like rubber bullets, pepper bullets, things usually referred to as flashbangs.
Which are stun
I was
grenades, aren't they?
no, well, they are. They do have grenades as well, but flashbangs are intended to be fired above a crowd where they explode with a big flash and a loud bang, and they scare the crap out of everybody. That's the idea. So there's a lot of these going off. The area I was actually located, there were a group of people that were doing nothing more than waving large Mexican flags, backwards and forwards, and then beyond them were the headlights of the sheriff's department's vehicle. So these flags were illuminated. It looked quite beautiful as a photographer. So I was there photographing this, and all of a sudden I felt this excruciating pain in my right leg, in my thigh. Felt as I was going to pass out any minute. I hobbled away and shouted, "I've been hit, I've been hit." And the response from protesters in the way they picked me up, carried me to safety was just incredible.
It's incredible. It is an incredible story. And, you've covered many protests. I think my producer told me 40 protests. Am I right? Maybe more.
Yeah, probably around that number. I actually started in the UK in London 30 years ago. And I think I started out covering the tail end of the strikes and protests about the mine closures. And then there was obviously a lot of trouble during May Day protests in London and so on. So I suppose I'm quite experienced. And I started getting back to protests in 2020 here in Los Angeles after the George Floyd Black Lives Matter protests.
Well, and so you've witnessed many turbulent times in recent American history. And I just wonder if you've ever seen anything like what you're witnessing now, and what that says about the way America is headed.
Yeah, it's very worrying. I mean, I kind of predicted this was coming. We've all heard about Project 2025 and so on. And, this is written down effectively in the strategy to, fight civil unrest and perhaps implement martial law and so on. I think we're literally days away from seeing live rounds fired initially over the heads of crowds. But I've not seen anything this vast before. Obviously, George Floyd protests were pretty dramatic, pretty violent, but that was over a short period of time. And started with one large protest and then fizzled out, but this just seems growing.
Incredible. And Nick, I'm really glad that you've been operated on, but I'm sorry to hear that it's going to take you a while to recover. But thank you very much for joining us on The Thick of It.
Peaceful protest! 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 Peaceful protest!
And this is what we continue to see over and over, these videos of children being violently ripped away from their parents' arms, wondering when they'll ever see them again.
And it's important to know LAPD was founded on the same type of Jim Crow, apartheid, racism, which allows these billionaires to profit off of private prisons knocking at the door. LAPD, ICE, immigrant families. And whether you or me is an immigrant or not, we've been ready to be a part of that movement. Are you ready to stay in the streets? I want to say to each and every one of you, you are not alone. The world is watching Los Angeles. Has been a problem for the entire world.